Hi everybody. Just wanted to make a little video. It's going to be a little bit difficult for me to make this video, but it's about my one-wheel journey. And unfortunately, I think that I might have reached the end of the road. Sorry, it's hard to even talk about it. About a month ago, I had a terrible accident riding my one wheel. I just had gone out to the Aldi about a mile and a half from my house to pick up a sack of potatoes, and like I always do when I'm riding my one wheel, I enjoy it so much. And so I was coming back home. I was about a half mile from home, and I was riding along a biking and running path trail that goes near my house. And alongside that is a nice little bit of grass with some little bit of contour, so I like to surf on that. It's what I've really decided is what I enjoy the most about one-wheeling is grass surfing. I'm not a professional one-wheel rider. I've been riding since 2017. I bought a Onewheel Plus. And I invented the Vampire mod in 2018 to extend the range using Ego batteries in parallel, initially through the charging port, and then Future Motion blocked that with firmware, so with the XR. So I developed the Vampire mod, which was using posi taps in the little connector compartment to tap into the battery wires right behind the controller. And that allows the Onewheel Plus and V1 and the earlier XR to very much increase their range and a little bit of low-end torque using batteries in parallel from Lawn Tools. On the Onewheel Plus, that's the Ego battery. So over the years, I was riding that in parallel on my Onewheel Plus, and then water got into my battery box, eventually destroyed my original stock battery, so I just took it out. It was like dead weight and not a whole lot of range anyway, only 6 to 8 miles of range with that original stock battery. So I've been using larger and larger Ego batteries, and for the last couple of years I've been riding with a 10 amp hour Ego battery, which gives basically the equivalent range of a one-wheel GT, 20 to 30 miles depending on what surface I'm riding on, in trail, road, grass. Grass, much less, because it takes a lot more torque to ride on grass. But that's what I love doing, riding on grass. So I was riding on grass on the way back from Aldi, carrying a sack of potatoes, and don't know exactly what happened, but my rear foot bounced off the rear deck, and it hit the ground, and it was dragging in the grass, and time dilated, and I realized I needed to get that foot in front of me and make a step. So time had slowed way down, and I was really trying to get my foot in front of me, but I just couldn't do it. I was falling backwards, and I fell backwards with all my weight onto my leg, and it was underneath me. I heard a horrible pop, and I was sitting in the grass looking at my leg beneath me. So I torqued it around and tried to straighten it and noticed that it was displaced away from my knee about 3 inches, 2 or 3 inches. So I realized I had hurt it pretty badly, and called my partner Leslie, and she got in the car to come get me. And some neighbors along the trail there came out to see. Some people had been running by. Some guys came over to check on me, and I said I had hurt myself, and Leslie pulled up, and they loaded me into the front seat, and we went to the ER, and turns out that I had shattered my tibial plateau, which is the bone that is in the front on your lower leg, and it had popped out of my knee joint, and here's what my leg looks like now. Now it's been about a month, and after waiting for a hospital bed for 16 hours, I managed to get surgery in Peoria, which is about an hour and a half away from where I live in Savoy, Illinois. None of the local emergency rooms were able to take me. The emergency room that I had gone to was with a hospital that had recently closed their ortho and trauma center, which I was not aware of. So they could only try to transfer me to an available bed, and so they transferred me to Peoria, and I got very good care there at the OSF St. Francis Hospital, which is a Catholic hospital. Very fortunate to have gotten very good care, but it was an hour and a half away from where I live, so that's not very convenient. And originally, they installed a what they call an external fixator. I'll show you a picture of it here. And that is something that stabilizes the bones until the swelling goes down, and they can perform a final surgery to put plates and pins and screws inside your leg. I had that surgery a week later, and that's where I am now, about almost 2 weeks after that surgery. So here we are, coming up on a month since my accident, and I've had a lot of time to think. I've been basically dead in the water here. The Onewheel has been a daily joy and has brought me many benefits. When I first started Onewheeling 8 years ago, I was not in great shape. I wasn't in terrible shape, but I didn't exercise very much, and I noticed that I would get tired and my core would get tired pretty quickly when I was riding. But as the more I rode daily, I quickly needed more range, and so since I'm an electrical engineer, I developed the mod to have an Ego battery to add on to the range of the original stock battery in the Onewheel Plus. And by doing that, I was able to ride for longer and longer distances, ride trails, etc., for longer distances, and my core strength really improved, and my cardiovascular improved. Started to recognize that the Onewheel was more than just getting me into good physical condition, but also it's very good mentally. It puts you into the flow state, and I can show you what the flow state is if you are not familiar. I'm going to show you a screen capture of the Google AI summary of what the flow state is here.
A flow state is a mental state of complete absorption and energized focus in an activity where time seemingly seems to vanish, distractions fade, and the person focuses intently on what they're doing. When in a flow state, you may experience intense focus, loss of self-consciousness, altered sense of time, sense of control, clear goals and immediate feedback, authentic experience, merging of action and awareness. Some examples are creative arts, sports and physical activity, running, surfing, dancing, any other physical sport like snowboarding, one-wheeling, work and hobbies, computer coding, working in a commercial kitchen. How to achieve the flow state: balance skills and challenges, set clear goals, minimize distractions, find intrinsically motivating activities.
So besides the flow state, it also, and the physical improvements that I noticed, it also is very good for balance and some other senses that are in addition to the normal ones you think of: sight, hearing, touch, taste, smell. There's some other senses that are based on your body position awareness, which I can show you here if you're not familiar.
Proprioception and kinesthesia. Proprioception is the awareness of your body's position and movement in space Well, kinesthesia is the awareness of body movement itself, including the force and effort involved in that movement. Proprioception, what it is, your self-sense for body position and awareness. Orientation, it includes your sense of balance and the practice, precise location and posture of your limbs and body parts in space. Kinesthesia is the ability to perceive movement and the force, effort, or speed of the movement. Includes awareness of how your body parts are moving, which helps in coordination and skill development. How they are used. Proprioception allows you to walk without consciously thinking about each step, adjust your balance when you trip, and maintain posture. Kinesthesia is crucial for learning new motor skills, improving muscle memory, and performing tasks that require fine motor and control and coordination.
So anyway, all of those wonderful improvements that the Onewheel brought me, I got into grass surfing, and it was my passion, and I did it almost daily, year-round. But now this injury has made me think, and it's been hard on me, very, very hard on me, of course, but also hard on the people that love me. My partner, Leslie, who has had to take care of me because I'm unable to do much with my leg held in a fixed position. I can't drive. I can't really get around very much. For a while, I would feel dizzy if I was standing for more than just a few minutes, so all I could manage was pretty much getting from my bedroom to the living room, to the toilet when I needed to use the toilet, but taking showers and other things that took longer than just a couple of minutes, I would feel kind of dizzy. And I ended up having an episode where I was using the toilet and I had finished and I was standing up and just finishing up, but I had a very strong wave of dizziness wash over me and almost passed out, and it took me 40 minutes to recover enough to get to my bed. And after speaking with my health advocate nurse, she said that I should go to the ER to get checked out to make sure I didn't have a blood clot or something other thing going on that would need to have attention. And I had that happen on Monday of this week. And I went to the ER and got all checked out, and I even had a CAT scan done. And I'm in great health. And I attribute that a lot to the Onewheel because I haven't really done a whole lot of exercise. And in fact, during COVID, during the lockdown, I went out every day and rode my Onewheel, but I was walking so little that I basically couldn't, when I did walk more than just short distances, I found that I could barely walk. But I was riding miles and miles and miles per day, 15, 20 miles a day on my Onewheel during COVID. So it was my outlet and escape from lockdown, and really helped with my mental health during that period as well. But here I am today, and I realize that I must consider not just my own health, but also what the impact of this accident has been on my loved ones and my partner Leslie. And I can't be selfish to continue riding the Onewheel. It's heartbreaking. Something that's been such an important part of my life, and it's brought me such benefits and joy over the last 8 years that to think I need to give it up. But I do think that I need to give it up. And I'm not saying that I'll never ride it, but I'm thinking that I can't ride it every day. So I'd like to go over why I've come to this decision, because I know a lot of you who might be watching this video are Onewheel riders and think, like I used to, that no matter what, I'm going to always keep riding. And I'm 59 and going to be 60 next month, and I was thinking I'll ride this thing until I'm 80 or more. I'm just going to keep riding this thing. But this injury has been a terrible injury for me. I've never broken my leg before. I've broken many bones in my life, starting from my childhood when I broke my arm falling out of a tree, to crashing the scooter and breaking my teeth. I've broken my wrist snowboarding in California. Um, I've had other health issues. I've had my appendix burst. I've had Bell's palsy, which is my face is a little non-symmetrical. And I've gotten through all those things. Even after I first got the Onewheel in 2017, one of the reasons I got it was I wanted to go to Burning Man, and I knew it would be ideal for Burning Man. So I got it in the spring of 2017, and I quickly started injuring myself learning how to ride it, but nothing too seriously, other than a huge bump on my hip, which I quickly decided to start wearing padded hip shorts to protect my hip. And in more recent years, I've discovered that wearing a battle belt with my flexible water bottle positioned over my leading hip provides a very good protection for falls onto my hip. And over the years, I've fallen hundreds of times on my Onewheel. I've learned how to fall for the most part. Most of those falls involve riding and having the nose go into the ground, which is called a nosedive on a Onewheel. Usually from trying to go too fast up a steep hill, or just running out of torque. And the Onewheel Plus is not a very powerful Onewheel, so it takes a little more finesse to ride, but I enjoyed the finesse of that. And once I learned the limits of the board, it was kind of thrilling to try to ride close to the limit of the torque. It's like surfing on the lip of a wave, that feeling of free fall, the thrill of being on the edge. It's very addictive. So as a result of doing that, multiple nosedives every week, often several per ride, that I would run out. Or if I couldn't run out, I learned how to fall. And I would not hurt myself because I was wearing wrist guards and a helmet and the padded shorts and my battle belt with a water bottle. So I did have some other accidents after 2017, some road rash, some of them caused by not paying attention and hitting things in the shadows, or in grass. You often hit a hole and the board will stop and you go flying forwards. But I learned how to deal with all of those without getting too injured, other than maybe some scrapes. And I think I was very fortunate. One thing that I always thought is that when you're riding a Onewheel, it's not if you're going to get hurt, it's when you're going to get hurt. And I always kind of thought that maybe someday I would break a collarbone, or maybe an arm, or something like that. But I've never broken the leg before, and I have to tell you that being stuck now for a month with 1.5 to 2 months remaining before I can put weight on my leg is the worst injury that I've ever had. And that includes in 2017 at Burning Man, when I crashed at Burning Man trying to outrun a dust storm, and I broke my right wrist in 9 places and my left thumb, and I broke multiple ribs, and I got a concussion. And I went to the hospital at Burning Man, and they put a cast on my right arm, and they wanted to x-ray my left thumb, and I wouldn't let them because I was afraid that if I did, they would make me leave, and I didn't want to leave. So I couldn't, they can't prescribe painkillers at Burning Man, so I had to just tough it out. And again, Leslie was my partner there, and she picked up the slack and took care of me and had to suffer with me. And about a month after the accident, I was back in Chicago, and I got my wrist fixed and my thumb fixed. And my wrist was fixed by a surgeon at Stroger Hospital that is possibly one of the best orthopedic hand doctors in the world. So other than the scar, which is very, very minimal, as soon as I had the bandages removed, I went to one physical therapy session and already had 95% use of and mobility of that wrist. So I was very lucky. But that injury, compared to this injury, is worse. Breaking a leg and taking me away from the outside and my ability to move freely in the world it's not something that I ever want to happen again. Now, do I blame the one wheel? No, I don't. This accident could have happened from all kinds of activities, just walking, slipping on ice and falling backwards, anything that you would fall backwards, which could be almost any activity when you are, not sitting on a couch or in bed. You could have this injury. But the thing about the one wheel is that every moment, every instant while riding the one wheel, there's a tiny, tiny, tiny probability that tragedy could strike and you might crash and seriously hurt yourself, especially if you're not wearing a helmet or other protective equipment like wrist guards, padded shorts, or if you're downhill racing, you better be padded up because that's brutal. The ground is very hard. So I just feel like I can't do it anymore. I can't take that chance. I can't ask my loved ones to take care of me during my recovery again. I don't know what I will find to fill the void left in my life for going forward that used to be filled by the one wheel. The flow state is something that is magic, and there's a lot of things you can do to be in the flow state, but the one wheel is a flow state machine. And if you're not focused while riding the one wheel, you're going to crash. Even though it's self-balancing, there's so much that you learn that you need to do if you're not just passively riding it on level ground. You need to be working with the motor and the controller at all times and looking out for hazards and paying attention, complete focus. And that gets you into the flow state. And the flow state is very addictive. So I need to find something else. I'm currently thinking that I'm going to try to be in the flow state on water. E-foiling has always been something that I'm interested in, but never really thought that I needed to do it because the one wheel gets me there right outside my door. I moved to Colorado because I love snowboarding, and I lived out there for 5 years, and I never went snowboarding. And the reason was because I just loved my one wheel, and snowboarding involves a lot of driving, sitting in traffic to get up into the mountains, variable weather. Sometimes it's great, other times it's icy and the conditions aren't great, but I definitely have been in the flow state from snowboarding when I lived in California. I used to do it multiple times per winter, as often as I could. I was working, so it wasn't as often as I would like. I always thought I'd love to be a bum, a snowboarding bum, but not everybody can afford to do that. So anyway, the one wheel became my substitute for snowboarding, but it was something that takes you to the flow state every time you ride it, just right outside your door. And it costs just pennies a day worth of electricity to keep the battery charged, and maybe a nickel a day for the rubber that you're burning off the tire. So maybe e-foiling is the thing. There's a big lake that's 26 minutes from my house that I haven't been to yet, called Clinton Lake, and there's a nuclear power plant on that lake that warms the water and extends the season for boating and watercraft. And I think I've been watching a lot of parafoiling and wing foiling and e-foiling videos, and I've heard from other one-wheel riders that have taken up e-foiling that it's even more awesome than riding a one-wheel. So water is a lot more forgiving than land. Not saying that it's risk-free, but nothing in life is risk-free. You got to get off the couch. If I didn't have the one wheel in my life, who knows where I'd be right now? I wasn't someone who really exercised for the sake of exercise. I used to downhill mountain bike, and I did that and loved it in California, near Los Angeles, in the mountains. But now I'm living in the flatland, and you can get in the flow state from bicycle riding, just from the monotony of it. But you can get hit by a truck or a car And, you know, nothing's without risk, even running. People get a runner's high, same thing. I don't know if that's the same as the flow state, but anyway, it's a little bit different. But I think the e-foiling might be the ticket. I'm going to try that once I recover from this. I have a long road ahead. I can't put weight on my leg for another month and a half to 2 months, and so I'm stuck here, just captive in my wonderful house. Just a little over a week before my accident, Leslie and I got a Australian cattle dog puppy that we named Poppy. And here, I'll show you. Here's some little video of her. And she's been a joy, but I feel bad that I haven't been able to help with taking her out every couple hours to make sure she doesn't pee inside the house, and you know, not able to enjoy playing with her outside. So it's been hard, but also just I feel blessed that I have this wonderful blue heeler puppy in my life, and I look forward to many years of fun with her as she grows up. And this is a temporary setback, even though right now it seems forever. But I'll get through it, and I've learned many lessons from this experience. And my path forward might not include the Onewheel very often, if ever, but I know I'll find other things that will bring me joy. And so that's about all I wanted to say. I just been thinking about making a video for a while, and I just wanted to, you know, before this I was posting Onewheel videos, several per week often, and they weren't great. They didn't get a lot of views, but I enjoyed making them. I'm going to still enjoy making YouTube videos, even though I doubt I'll ever make very much money. In the 2-3 years since I was last at Burning Man in 2023, oh, that's just 2 years ago, I've only made about $90 on YouTube from all of my videos. I've got, I think, 270 plus videos that I've made. So you can see it's certainly not making me rich, but I do enjoy it, and I'm getting better at it. So it's a fun little thing. It makes it more fun if you are making a little bit of money, because you can try to figure out what it is that causes people to click. You know, a lot of it is the thumbnail, other things, little tricks that you can do, and you get better and better at editing. So I enjoy YouTube, and I'm going to keep doing it, and I would appreciate if you stuck around. There's going to be a lot of Poppy, the blue heeler, growing up, and a lot of shorts. I've been posting shorts of Poppy, and I'm sure I'll continue doing that and other adventures, and maybe next year there will be videos of me learning how to e-foil. So you'll see what I end up doing. Like I say, this looks like the end of the road. My Onewheel journey is over, but I'll find something else. And hopefully some of you will stick around to see what that is. Thanks for, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to, for those of you out there who are Onewheel riders, I wanted to talk about a few lessons that I've learned from my accident, maybe some things that would have helped prevent it. First off, I ride with high tire pressure, 24 psi, on a 5.5 inch wide tire. So it's not the most stable tire. The reason for that is that higher psi gives you more range and also more torque. A softer tire and lower tire pressure causes more friction, and friction takes torque to overcome, so you have less torque to climb or keep your nose up. So I rode with high torque, high tire pressure. What that means is that the board bounces around a little bit more, and you get used to it. But in retrospect, if I was riding with a softer PSI, maybe my rear foot wouldn't have bounced off the deck. So that's a possible lesson for this particular injury. But like I say, this particular injury is not a common one-wheel injury, and I don't really think of it as a one-wheel injury. I just think of it as a dumb luck injury. But anyway, that's one lesson. A second thing that could have helped is if I had some sort of hooks, either I do kind of hook my rear foot underneath my ego battery on the which is mounted on the rear part of my fender. So that kind of acts as a little bit of a rear flight fin, but that didn't keep my foot locked in. There's hooks that are on the back of the board, or possibly maybe more contour on the rear pad. Could have kept my foot locked in a little bit more. I don't know. I don't really know what caused my foot to bounce off. I assume I hit some sort of divot or something that I didn't see, and it just knocked my foot off. But that's about the only lessons that I can say that I learned from my accident that might have prevented it from happening at all. But there's so many other accidents that can happen: broken collarbones or broken arms, or so many things, dislocated knees, broken elbows. So I'm not really too worried about this particular injury happening again. But like I said, every time I ride the one wheel, I was in the back of my mind realizing that I was rolling the dice for any number of injuries that could be catastrophic. And my number came up. You ride long enough and your number is going to come up, and then you have to make a decision if you're going to keep riding. In 2017, I decided to keep riding, and I'm glad I did. I got many, many more years of pleasure and pure benefit from it. But now is the time to be real and find something else to fill that void. So anyway, thanks for listening. And if you are a one-wheel rider, don't take this as a discouragement. Keep doing it. Everybody's got to make their own choices in this life, and I'm not trying to persuade anyone from not riding a one wheel or blame this on the one wheel. It's not any of that. It's just my decision. And love you all. Live your life according to your own choices, and just make sure you live your life. Peace out.